everyone, this is Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet a soap bag. It measures about 5 inches by 3 and it's the perfect size for a standard bar of soap. But they're also great for when you've used your soaps down to small pieces, and you can put several inside and use it just like a washcloth. You just put your soap or soap pieces inside, close it up, get it wet, and scrub your body just like you would with a bar of soap. It's like having your soap and your washcloth in one. It also works great for facial soap. Now this is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and you can find that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. What you're going to need to make yourself a cotton soap bag is some cotton yarn. Now some people prefer worsted weight number 4, and that's fine if you prefer that. I prefer using cotton. This is the Red Heart Smoothie Scrubby, or Scrubby Smoothie, however you say that. But you can use any cotton yarn like Peaches and Cream, which this is Peaches and Cream, this pink variegated. You can use I Love This Cotton, or any other cotton that you may have on hand. We're going to be crocheting today with our H hook, and the H hook is a 5.00 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle, and you'll need some scissors, and you'll need some soap to slide inside your bag. We're going to begin down here at the bottom, and we'll be stitching around, working our way up to the top. Let's start with our slip knot, and then we're going to chain 9 chains. Here's my 9 chains. We're going to place 2 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. Here's our first chain, here's our second. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. We'll make a second single crochet in that same chain. There we go. Now we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Now we're to the last single crochet, and we're going to stitch 2 single crochets in this last chain. There we go. All right, so now we have 2, 6, and 2, which is 10 single crochets. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to be stitching down the opposite or other side of the chain. So in the first stitch or the first chain, we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. We'll stitch 1 single crochet in the next 6. And then in the last chain, we're going to stitch 2 single crochets. We're going to join to that first single crochet. There we go. With a slip stitch. You pull up a loop, then pull that loop through the loop on our hook and chain 1. And this is the bottom of the bag and how your first row should look. For row 2, we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. So we're going to go right in that first single crochet, and then we'll put 1 single crochet in each of the single crochets around. We're not adding any extra single crochets, just one in each, just moving around this corner or this end. And you'll see it gently come up because we're going to be doing the sides of the bottom of the bag, working right up from this beginning. And you'll need to have 20 single crochets. Make sure you count and make sure you have the right number. Then we'll join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, chain one, and then we'll repeat 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. And again, you'll see how you'll start to, the sides of the bag will start to come up. See how that comes up? You can see that that's the bottom of the soap bag. And again, make sure you only have 20 single crochets, because if you have more or less, it's going to mess up the V-stitch rows that we're going to be stitching. Alrighty, I'm going to again join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch, only this time I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to take the bottom of my bag and flip it out, because that's the inside, and we need to weave that string in, but we'll do that a little later. And that's the way that it should look after your 3rd row. All right, for our 4th row, we're going to begin with our V stitches. We've chained 3. We're going to place a double crochet in the same stitch as our chain 3. Yarn over, go in that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through those last 2 loops. We're going to skip the next single crochet and stitch 2 double crochets in the next single crochet. And this is how this row will work. Skip the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the next. Skip the next, 2 double crochets in the next, and we'll work this all the way around this row. So I have completed this all the way around, and you should have 10 sets of 2 double crochets together. When you get back around, you'll have 1 stitch left to skip. You'll join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and then I want you to go right in between that chain 3 and that first double crochet from that previous row, and go right in between those 2 stitches and stitch a chain 3. Now we're going to stitch another double crochet right in that space between those 2 double crochets. And then what we're going to do all the way around is stitch 2 double crochets in between those 2 double crochets. And again, you'll have 10 sets of 2 double crochets. Normally a V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, but we are not chaining 1 in between because I want them to be a nice tight V-stitch. So technically it's just 2 double crochets, but it stitches up like a V-stitch. So what we're doing is placing 2 double crochets in between each of the sets of 2 double crochets, moving all the way around our soap bag. All right, we're to our last one. 2 double crochets. We'll join to the top of that chain 3. And then we'll repeat. We'll go in the space between the first 2 double crochets, or the chain 3 and double crochet, and chain 3. And then we'll double crochet and repeat what we did on this row. I completed this row of stitching 2 double crochets in between each of the 2 double crochet sets. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this row 2 more times. I've joined with a slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. I slip stitched in between those first 2 stitches and chained 3. I'm going to double crochet in that same space, and then double crochet in between each of the 2 double crochets around, 2 double crochets in between the 2 double crochets from the previous row, all the way around, and then I'm going to repeat that. So I'll have 5 rows of V-stitches. I now have 5 rows of V-stitches, and we're done with the V-stitches. And what we're going to do now for row 9 is we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around. And the best way to make sure you don't miss a stitch is to follow the braids on the top rather than just looking for the stitches. All right, so for instance, here's the first one, so I'm going to stitch a single crochet, if I can get my hook in there, that is. There we go, right in that first one. So here's the next one, and just follow those braids on the top, stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And again, we're going to only have 20 single crochet stitches. We didn't increase any by the way we stitched those V-stitches, because we had 10 V-stitches that each had 2 double crochets. So we need 10 single crochets around. And see how I'm just following those little braid loops on the tops? Sometimes when we change to a new stitch, we can get a little confused where to place our stitches. And that's where I always look on the top, and that will always tell me where to put my stitches. All right, so we've got a row of single crochet. We're going to join to that first single crochet, chain 1, and now we're going to stitch 2 more rows of just single crochet. So we'll go right in that first single crochet and stitch a single crochet in each single crochet around for 2 more rows. I I've stitched those 3 rows of single crochet. Now on this next row, we're going to be stitching a single crochet, chain 1 and skip 1 so that we have a place to feed our drawstring through. So the way we'll do that is we'll stitch a single crochet in the first single crochet. We'll chain 1 and skip the next stitch. Single crochet, chain 1, skip the next stitch. Single crochet, chain 1. And what that will do is that will leave holes for us to feed the drawstring for our bag through. And we'll do this all the way around. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 single crochet. If we didn't put those holes, we could still feed our drawstring through. This just makes it a little bit easier. All right, so I'm back around, chain 1, I'm going to skip the last one and I'm going to join to my single crochet where I started. There's my chain 1. And this last row, we're going to put a single crochet in each single crochet and in each of the holes we skipped. So 1 single crochet in this first single crochet, and then I'll go right in that chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. And that just makes our holes a little more pronounced where we can find them. Single crochet right in that chain 1 space. Single crochet in the next, single crochet in the chain 1 space, all the way around. So I've worked my way around, stitching single crochet and then single crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and tie off. I'm going to pull that to the inside, and then I can weave that in later. I'm just going to hook it down so it's out of my way, and then I'll grab my needle after a bit and weave that in. And this is the way the bag should look. Perfect size for a bar of soap. All right, so now let's make the tie, and it's really super simple. We're just going to start with our slip knot, and we're going to chain about 60. And that gives us a nice long chain. All right, so I've got about 60 chained here. I'm going to cut my yarn. And I'm going to put a knot on the end and try to get it as close as I can to the end of that chain. There we go. And clip that off nice and close. And then I'll do that on this other end as well. And that's just going to help it stay and not come undone. All right, so now you have to decide, do you want your tie in the front or do you want it on the side, or however you want to do it. And what I do is I take my hook, I want to put it in the front, and so here's the center one, and I'll take my hook and I'll go backwards through those holes. Then I'll grab a hold of it and pull it through. All right. I'm not going to pull the whole thing because I want some in the front. All right, and then I'll just go and finish it up. And it makes it easier for me if I just feed that hook in backwards. There we go. All right. Now, if you want to, oops, that's off-centered. Gonna pull that one more through. There we go. All right, now if you want to tie the ends so you can hang it up in your shower, you can. You can tie it in a bow. You can do it however that you want to. I like to just leave them. That way I can get the soap in and out easily. And then I can just tie it in a bow. And then I'll take that edge of that bow and hook that on the thing in my shower. All right, that's how easy it is to make a super simple and cute soap bag. This block of soap has square edges. Most of your soaps have rounded edges. It's a little easier to get in. That's a coconut bar. All right, there's your drawstring. Tie it in a bow, and you're ready to go.